But yeah, thanks for joining us. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, I always try to explain to everyone, and those of you that know kind of what this is all about, we do this in a very informal setting. I mean, we're sitting right now here in our gym, or in our gym, in Lisa Raleigh's gym. And we do it quite informally. And the reason we do it is because when we did start getting very formal about doing this, we started with beautiful seating, pot plants and everything. And people came to us and said, no, don't do that, because that's not who we know you for. And some people
take it back to your lounge.
Yeah, take it back to your lounge. We love this because we did this in lockdown, where we kind of just started this.
3 years ago, you know that.
But before lockdown.
It's our 3-year webinar anniversary now. It was 2020.
No, that's
July.
3 classes.
No, and the free classes. We started them all at the same time. So we've been doing this for 3 years. I think we on over 20 webinars now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So just by the way, I looked at the stats. There's a post going to go out about the free live classes, and just the free live classes are insane. I mean, we've spent, a couple $1 million doing free live rebounding classes. We do over 20 a week. I mean, it's incredible, the numbers. We have almost 10,000 people that have signed up for that. We've done, I saw in the stats, we've done almost over 35,000 workouts since we began.
Yeah,
Bethany did the number.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary. I mean, it's
6,000 classes.
So those of you who don't know, we do free live rebounding classes, just FYI. So look,
so no excuses, really.
Yeah, so let's kick this off formally. So it is informal, it is easygoing.
Pajamas.
Your pajamas. We have a special guest.
Just like I walked up the stairs and into the gym, he says, don't be late. I'm like, fine. Rush up here, and the camera was on. So yes, I am wearing my Boston Terrier fluffy pajamas, and that's how we want it to be, is just as informal as possible. In fact, one of our guests asked me today, can I wear a gown? Please tell me I can wear a gown. I said, well, you can wear a gown. It's like, are you wearing a gown, Tony?
Wait. What's Shun? That's
We're brave, hey? I'm wearing my kind of gown. How can you not show up in a gown?
Just by the way, Shun, whatever that is, just make sure it's a glass. Just
have bunny slippers on.
Awesome. Okay, so just make sure that that glass is not a glass of wine. That is a glass of something. Free wine.
Wine with a glass of water followed. Totally acceptable.
Okay, cool. Okay, first of all, let's kick this off formally. So first of all, thank you to Biogen for making this possible. They've come along for the ride. Lisa's been a close participant and an ambassador and an endorser of Biogen. And this is part of that whole ambassadorship. She's come a long way with Discam. She's one of the longest ambassadors for Discam, one of the longest for Biogen. So thank you to Biogen for allowing us to put this together this evening. Let's kick off. Today is all about beauty from within. So when Lisa explained this to me, I was like, what are you trying to achieve with this particular way? What do you mean by beauty within? Because this is quite niche. It's not like gut health.
Yeah,
or some of those. And I love what you explained. You explained about it's kind of going around the anti-aging or like delayed aging and
longevity.
Kind of longevity and talking about that. And it was quite interesting. For those of you that haven't looked at it, please go and Google Vitality UK's study. So this is Discovery in the UK, but they're called Vitality over there. They did a study on lifespan versus health span. And the study is extraordinary. And it deals look, it's a lot of data, etc. But what it essentially says, example, in the United Kingdom, the expected lifespan is around 82 to 84 years. So you're expected to live over there longer than ever before. So, I mean, they've incremented there, steadily. You look at the graph, it was like 68 coming through like the 70s, and it keeps climbing all the way to now where you've got like a lifespan between 82 and 84. That's your life expectancy when you're in the United Kingdom. But the graph that was very interesting that they overlapped to that is, as much as your lifespan goes up, what was extraordinary was how your health span collapses in the UK. So the last 15 to 20 years, people are living longer, but their last 15 to 20 years, they've never lived more unhealthy during those years, which is profound. So we are living longer, but our health spans have completely, I mean, you see a hockey stick up towards 82 to 84, but then you literally see the health span graph collapse. Like it really nosedives when you get to your late 50s, early 60s. You do live those extra years, but then you're living with non-communicable diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, etc., etc. And it's again because of sedentary living. It's the type of food we're eating. It's public transportation. It's all of the stuff that we do. So that was quite extraordinary. And hopefully tonight we'll talk about that. It's not about incrementing your lifespan as much as it is making sure that the last years that you live are qualitative, beautiful.
Not last years, but I mean, it could be 2 to 3 decades.
Yeah.
That's a really long time to live with, you know, bad back and having a hip replacement and having osteoporosis and suffering from terrible migraines and having cancer and all sorts of things. It's really scary. I mean, and we are surrounded by clients like this every single day, but also surrounded by incredible success stories of clients in their 50s and 60s, even late 60s, that have made changes over the last couple of years and have never felt stronger, never felt better, healthier, more, you know, full of vitality. So that's really exciting because it means that it's never too late to start, and that if you make a change today and we were to revisit this exact topic a year from now and go into, you know, more detail, more science, things change all the time. You know, you could look back and say, wow, I remember listening to this webinar a year ago, and I feel like a different human being compared to this time last year. And in one short year, you can change everything. You can change your health stat, you can change the way you look, change the way you feel, and you can feel 20 years younger in one short year. By making some changes with regards to diet, supplementation, the way you exercise, stress, sleep, all sorts of things. I mean, I must be honest, the staff gets these compliments a lot because when I met him, he was 36 or so.
Go on.
And a lot of people that see him after a decade say, you don't age, you look younger now than when I saw you a decade ago. And that they say that you're only as old as the woman you feel. Just kidding.
That's pretty good.
Okay, no, but it's because you know, Steph's made some major health changes. He exercises differently now, he supplements appropriately, he eats plant-based, he doesn't eat meat anymore, he doesn't drink nearly as much, he sleeps a lot better, he's a lot more conscious about almost every single thing that he does. Compared to when I met him, he was a very pale, pasty, soft, kind of geeky Joe Biogen nerd that used to code for 3 days in a row without getting any sleep. Like, he was really in a bad way, and he looked inflamed, puffy, and really unwell.
Let's stick with the compliments.
You were cute still, but you were unwell. And to think that a decade or more later, you look better than you did.
Yeah, and I feel, I must be honest,
it's really quite amazing.
And I did feel better. I can do more. I mean, I remember the time when Bethany and Amber were younger, when, you know, they wanted to do things on a weekend, and I used to gasp and think, geez, do I have the energy for these kids? Now, what's so funny is the kids can't keep up with us. Like Bethany, Amber, and Bella, just, they can't keep up. And I think it's that. And I love the post that you did the other day where you said you don't train to lose weight. You don't train to
have a booty,
your booty or a six pack and all that. You train so you can live this qualitative life. You train so you can spend more quality time, that you're going to be there for the special days in the end. And that's what it's kind of all about. And I think one thing that you did teach me, and maybe it's going to come out when you talk later on, is about being mindful about what you put in your body. And you know, I never before, food wasn't a thing that I thought about. It was this thing, it was a meal, I ate it, and boom. This thing that and then I just drank something that kind of tasted, and I just didn't think about, you know, chewing what was in my mouth, and thinking about how to swallow it, how to kind of consume it, and the timing around it. I mean, being just mindful about what you put in your body. I think that was when I first met you in the beginning. I met somebody that was so mindful about what they were consuming, and it's not a compliment. I mean, it's just a fact. This is how you live. But many people don't do that. They don't think about what am I putting in my body, but how am I putting it into my body, and then what am I doing? So it's quite profound.
But
so
even I've been through a transformation. I can't remember when we posting it, but it's actually a whole lot of images of me in my 20s. I know that Tony, who's on this Zoom tonight, she can actually vouch for it, because I used to be a lot more inflamed than I am now, like puffier, more swollen, rounder face, definitely not as lean, muscles not showing through, definitely more tired, headaches, all sorts of things, which I've spoken about many times before in other webinars with other subjects. But I've actually got this book that I had bound in my 20s, and it has like highlights of my career many years ago, and I look like a different person. And that was when I used to eat meat, when I used to overtrain. I used to train 3 times a day, too much running, too much high intensity strength and HIIT type of training, boxing and all sorts of things. And my diet was not right for my DNA. And I really looked different to how I look today. And
just by the way, if I could share screen, I should have done that. But just those of you that have this recording, you're going to get it. So what we do after this, If you've missed it, or you want to share this with somebody, we're going to send you like a WeTransfer link, and you can download this. And obviously, we'll make it available on our e-store. But for those of you that RSVP'd and attended this evening specifically, I'm going to attach in that pictures of what Lisa looked like when you were fit.
Yeah,
not before
so
when you
fit.
had Bella. You were fit, and we were running in Sydney, or we were running in Melbourne, or we were Kuala Lumpur, wherever we were in the world. And we thought like that was the optimal health. We were training every day. But if you actually took a look at Lisa, then the inflammation that you were carrying, how thick you were, and compared to how your body looks now, it's
I
extraordinary.
always felt like more was better, like the more you did anything, the better you would be. And that was so not the case for my specific DNA. The more I did something, the worse I was, and the more swollen I was, and the more that I was in pain, just general pain, just like not feeling. I felt like I always needed a massage. My body was sore all the time. So yeah, it's been, and I'm not that to say that I'm aged or even middle-aged yet. It's coming, but I definitely feel better in my body now compared to 15 years ago. So it's never too late to start. Whether you're 70 and you're listening, 60, 50, 40, 30, you can make changes now that will really enhance your life and change the way you feel.
Just by the way, go look at the Sylvia Miles social post. Is it today? Just go look at that one.
I actually didn't realize that it was what perfect timing. But if you go and have a look at my post today on social media, that was Sylvia 2.5 years ago. She came into the studio for the first time. She was super puffy. She looked inflamed, swollen, red cheeks. Body fat was much higher. She was way less fit than she is now. She looks like a different person. Even her posture, the way that she holds her body, her smile, her confidence, everything about her looks different in 2.5 years. And then she's 60. She's actually overseas for 2.5 months at the moment, having a wonderful time, wonderful holiday on a yacht.
Yeah, but I think the key thing was
she's never felt better in her whole life. She's never felt better, and she's 60. She said she feels like she's 30. And she never felt like that when she came to see us for the first time. Go and have a look at that post. I promise you, if you bumped into her, you would be like, this is not the same person.
And I'll just say this, and we need to get to our guests and the agenda and all that, but that's the objective of tonight's webinar, is to share with you, the insights. Obviously, Carly's on here tonight, as she usually is, and she is my DNA whisperer, our registered dietitian. She's part of the team, and I just love her kind of authentic, professional insights, and what I've seen. And I'll just say this in my individual capacity, and just very real. I became a part of this business because of these transformations, and these things are like very, very real. It's astonishing. When we opened up the Nickelway store, I think we're going to have our 1-year anniversary coming up imminently. But since we've had that store, I've been in there like weekends off and on, and it's incredible how people come in, and then I see them literally 5 months later, and I don't recognize them because of the way they look, and because they've done the DNA. They went off and did the lifestyle changes. They're doing the necessary movement, etc. And they come back 4 to 5 months later, and we just don't recognize them when they walk in the store. It's extraordinary. And we can't capture all those testimonies because people don't want to always speak out on social media. They don't always want to share their stories, but they're very, very real. And I must say, that's what keeps us driven. That's what keeps the hard stuff, it makes us cope with the hard stuff, because it does get hard in the business, especially with the current economic climate, etc. So look, long story short, tonight's webinar is about empowering you with these life hacks, and also to highlight some things around where you are all at right now. We all are super stressed as South Africans. There are some of you that are not South Africans that are on this call, but we all are. And I just want you to know that you are not alone, that the economic environment, the political uncertainty, everything that's going on specifically in South Africa right now is extremely difficult. And I applaud you we applaud you for joining this and making the investment, because this is us just giving back. We have partners and stuff that come along, but the key objective of this is to impart knowledge so you can live the best version of yourself, right? So you've got real practical life hacks to make the change. Make it easy
as possible,
and
as
real,
affordable, and as fun as possible, and stuff that sticks, because you can do anything for 8 weeks or 12 weeks or 30 days, but to actually make small, consistent changes over a really long period of time are the ones that actually stick and make the biggest difference. So it's just about making small changes and changing the way you think, changing the way you sleep, maybe just, hacks, like Steph said, little tiny hacks that can make a huge difference to the way that you look, feel, in over a period of time. And not to be too impatient with yourselves as well, because some things do take a while. It's not going to be some things will be instant. Within a week, you'll feel different, and some things take a while. So yeah.
Okay, let's get to it. So the agenda tonight is the following. We have a special guest here tonight again. Tony. Tony is Tony Carroll. She's
I sent you her amazing bio.
Yeah, but I think you need to, because I think, you know, the bio is the bio. I mean, like, people are it's very qualified, but that's insightful, etc. We're working with Tony on some cool things that we can't announce right now. But Tony is, whenever I speak to Tony, what I like about Tony is the realness. I just like the way she's just real. You just like you're authentic. Your viewpoints, your observations are very much experience-led, and I really appreciate that. So as much as you are
high energy, beautiful
yeah.
attitude, very positive human being, a pleasure to be around, always sees the bright side mostly.
By the way, she asked me tonight, can I use the C word? And I said, oh, do you mean cordyceps?
Yeah, she says how things are. Tony knows swearing, see, yeah, on this webinar, please. But one of the most real humans I've ever met. So in the book that I'm referencing, we are in there, Tony, and you and I in our 20s, girl. That was like 15 years ago. We were so white hair, so pale, but so curvy, and just we looked so different. But I've known Tony for a very long time, and she's come a long way in her career. One of the most researched, a particular pedantic A-type personalities ever. Things have to be perfect, they have to be researched, they have to be right, they have to be the best. She's a complete and utter qualitarian, just like me. And so we see eye to eye on everything. And when I wanted to speak a little bit about collagen, because every second person is launching a collagen range. They are everywhere. And how do you know which collagen to be on? What should you look for? What's the better one? Is it bovine? Is it marine, ethically sourced? How do you know which one to go on? How much should you be on? What happens if you're vegetarian like me or vegan? How do you, stimulate collagen? So these are the things that I thought, let me get the experts in, somebody who has spent about, I don't know, maybe a decade or close researching this stuff. I can't think of a better person to speak about the subject. So
just by the way, before she starts, Tony was the person that when we were like, we're going to do a supplement range, we looked at CBD. And she was like, whoa, stop, pause. And she actually put the brakes on.
Yeah.
And I think we're very thankful for that. I mean, that was great guidance there, because the CBD areas, it's controversial, it's crowded, it's noisy. We don't have clear clarity there. And obviously Biogen with all their products and services, etc. So look, I'm gonna, Tony, the floor is yours. Okay, go.
Hi guys. Thanks so much for having me. Steph, you didn't give the intro that I asked you to, by the way, so we'll chat afterwards. So I'm going to chat about collagen tonight, and I know most people, I get this every second question I get asked is, well, what collagen must I take? What does collagen really do? Where must I buy it? How do I take it? Etc. And it's become such commodity in the world, and it's become so confusing for customers and consumers out there, because South Africa is literally a dumping ground at the moment for collagen. And there are, like Lisa said, every week I see a new collagen out there in the marketplace, and it really has become totally confusing for people now. So I just want to debunk some myths, and I also just want to chat about the different types of collagen, because that is the number one question that I get asked, guys. I get asked is, well, what collagen must I take for this problem? Or I just want my skin to look healthy, or I really just need my hair to grow. And does collagen actually work for all of that? So in terms of just a little bit of background on collagen in general, and when I say collagen is literally a series of amino acids. Our body makes collagen. It is the most abundant form of protein that our bodies produce naturally. And yes, as we age, our collagen, our body's capacity to manufacture its own collagen does slow down, but it doesn't deteriorate to the level that, these massive, big global supplement companies want you to think. So it's not all doom and gloom. And collagen on a whole is not the be all and end all of a beauty supplement. There's a lot more to it. And there are a lot of other ingestible beauty ingredients out there. that can do, if not more, the same level as what collagen can do in terms of an anti-aging supplement. So first thing is collagen started literally around 60 years ago, and collagen came about that science labs and scientific doctors, etc., they needed a substance to actually just do certain experiments with, and that's how collagen as we know it came about. And it was all just for medical research, it was all just for clinical trials, how certain chemicals and enzymes react with each other, and they would do it in a collagen base. And then a couple of years ago, a giant, massive company, Thor, was able to actually produce a hydrolyzed form of collagen that was now safe for human consumption. And after quite a lot of clinical trials and testing over many years, it was actually shown that if we as a human being ingest a collagen from an animal, it does help our bodies produce more collagen. So that's the first thing. So unfortunately for vegans, there really is no source of collagen that is a direct collagen. Ingesting, our bodies can produce its own collagen. There are ingredients and there are certain things that people that don't like to eat meat and that vegetarians even, they can do to stimulate their own collagen production. But the first thing to be careful of and wary of out there is if a brand is saying that it is a vegan collagen, pure vegan collagen, it's basically a blatant lie. So just be careful of that when choosing collagen. That's the first thing just to watch out for. The second thing is the different types of collagen. You get the most predominant is the type 1. So most of the collagens that you'll find in all of your pharmacies, your health shops, online, everywhere, is a type 1 collagen. Type 3 collagen has also started to come into the mix as well. You get a type 2 collagen, you get a type 4, type 5, all the way up to type 27, believe it or not. For us, talking about a beauty supplement, a beauty from within, a supplement that can help with anti-aging, longevity, wellness, etc., etc. The only types of collagen, there's a handful of collagens that would literally help us as human beings get to that goal, or just help supplement us in our beauty and our longevity and our wellness journey. The main one, type 1 and type 3, I'm just running through this quickly, guys, because I know we're on a time limit here. The type 1 and type 3 are predominantly for your skin. So if you're looking at skin health, you're looking at wrinkles, you're looking at dehydration, you're looking at a little bit of loss of like a sagginess, type 1 is going to be your best collagen. Type 3 collagen is promoted as a skin health collagen, but what they don't tell you is that it's actually for wound healing and to care for the skin. It doesn't necessarily work to remove your wrinkles like the type 1 collagens are being promoted as. So a good mix is a type 1 and a type 3, but just know that you're going to get a holistic kind of skin care with those two collagens. You're going to look at helping with your skin hydration, your wrinkles, etc., etc. But you're also going to get the benefit of a type 3, which helps with wounds, just healing of the skin in general. Type 2 is for bones and joints and ligaments. So now we're looking more at an internal collagen, which would help just with the aches and the pains. We've also seen a type 2 help a lot, especially with women issues in particular. Just strengthening up the lower region for women, which has been quite successful in a lot of the studies that we've been doing. And there's some new stuff also on the market in terms of collagen, some specialized collagens, which you guys might see out there. We're now talking about, eggshell membrane collagen. We're talking about jellyfish collagen, which was also being launched. We're talking about collagens from various sources as well. So in a nutshell, when you're looking at a collagen product, there's a couple of markers that you need to be aware of. So collagen type 1, the most abundant on all the shelves, is not going to help you if you have arthritis. It's not going to help you if you can't sleep properly. It's not going to help you with bodily issues, especially the more, you know, the older you get. It's almost like we really start to worry about the internal stuff a little bit more than our skin. You know, our skin, yeah, sure, we always want our skin to look healthy and it to be radiant, but the inside starts to actually become a little bit more important. So just, yeah, so type 1 is going to help you with that. Type 2 is going to help you with your body. If you're needing hair growth, type 1 and type 3 is also very, very good. But just be careful on the price of the product. What are the claims that that product is making for that price? Is the product promising you the world? Is it going to cure all your ailments? And suddenly the next morning you're going to wake up and you're going to look 10 years younger? Be wary of that. And also look at the dosage size. So this is a key thing for me. Look, you know, with everything in life, there's quality and then there's quality. And it's exactly the same with the food you eat. It's exactly the same with the products you buy. And it is especially indicative of what supplementation you decide to go for. So with supplementation, price is quite a key indicator of the quality of the ingredients in the product, but also what information is on the bottle. What are they actually alluding to? Are they using trademark ingredients that you can actually trace back to the manufacturer? So all of these things are key to look. Just read the labels and just make sure that you're buying the right collagen for what it is, for that particular problem or that particular issue that you are having. And that's where I find a lot of the kind of miscommunication comes in and confusing people, because a lot of the brands are saying their collagen is literally a heal-all and it will just help you with every single anti-aging issue that you have. And that is just simply not true. The other big thing, which is not I don't want to be a downer, but the other big thing that people need to realize is that there's no miracle pill. There's no miracle powder. If you are leading a very unhealthy lifestyle and you're drinking too much alcohol, you're smoking, you're not getting enough sleep, you're certainly not getting enough exercise, and your stress levels are really, really high, all of those factors are really detrimental to your aging process, and you will age a lot faster, and there's no amount of collagen or any supplement on earth that's going to help you. That's the first thing. The second thing is genetically, we're all made differently. So me as Tony Carroll, my genes will express that I'm actually quite good and my body produces collagen very easily. Whereas, you know, Pete Pompey's next to me, same age, same circumstances, same diet, same normal routine. Her genes might express, no, that she's quite bad at producing collagen naturally. So it doesn't mean that now if we supplement with collagen, our genes are suddenly going to change and we're able to abundantly produce more collagen in our body. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that if we supplement with collagen, our bodies will only be able to produce as much collagen that is possibly for our genetic makeup. And that is something that no product will ever tell you, because yes, they are obviously trying to sell their products. Collagen is great. We've seen amazing results on it, and we've also seen pretty average results on it. So when you're now considering internally and you're thinking about supplements, the amount of biochemical things that go on in your body is so profound, and it's so individual to every single person. That's why I say there's no one miracle supplement pill that anybody can take that's going to miraculously work as an anti-aging solution. It really does boil down to how is your lifestyle, what are you eating, how are you exercising, what is your mindset, you know, do you practice gratitude, do you really live a mindful and conscious life, do you practice forgiveness? There's just too much to consider, and don't put your hopes on a collagen powder that's just going to miraculously work. So if you have all those ticks and you really are leading your best life and you're the best version of yourself and you practice that every day, and every day is a day towards, you know, you just being a better version of yourself, mentally, physically, in all areas, supplementing with the collagen and supplementing with other supplements are really going to help you. But it's almost like what you put in, which is, I mean, pardon the pun, what you put in is literally what you're going to get out with supplements. There's nothing that's going to, unless you take a scheduled drug, which sure will work instantly if you're lucky. With supplements, and especially a protein, it's a protein powder at the end of the day, you've got to manage your expectations, and you've got to also understand that your mindset plays a very, very key and crucial role in your anti-aging and your inner beauty journey, because it really is a journey. And especially today, I mean, in the last 10 years, the whole word beauty has totally changed. I mean, it's become more of a philosophy and conscious movement, which we're seeing every single day. So beauty 5 years ago is absolutely no longer what beauty is today. And I love that. And I think, I mean, that's why I love my job. I love seeing the journey of these women. And I love people just accepting now who they are. And everybody is really, really so beautiful once they've actually accepted that about themselves. So yeah, collagen, back on collagen. Collagen is great, but it's not a miracle. And if you're doing all the steps and you every day you are taking those steps to get a, you know, just improve your life, improve your mindset, and you're part of this on an anti-aging journey. I use the word pro-aging now. I was told that that's now the right phrase to use, guys. So it's pro-aging, not anti-aging, because we don't mind aging. We just want to do it gracefully, and we want to do it as the best version of ourselves. And collagen is a great supplement, a good quality collagen. Look for those markers, look for the claims. What are they saying on their labels? Are they promising you the world? What is the price? Are they asking you to take heaps and heaps and heaps and scoops and scoops and scoops every single day? Big warning. If it's a quality ingredient, you do not have to take that much of it every single day. Your body will literally only be able to take what it can and manufacture its own collagen from there. So have we got time to talk about the different where collagen is sourced from? Sorry, can't talk right now.
Yeah, I think touch on that, Tony. I think one of the questions that I get a lot is, you know, is it responsibly sourced, and kind of where we find like shooting at the head and then grind for this, or you know, there's like types of collagen too that I've heard. I mean, the other day you spoke to me about jellyfish collagen. Is that
yes?
It's just incredible. Like, just maybe touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So because collagen has exploded, there's quite a few manufacturers that have jumped on the boat worldwide. So globally, there's only 3 major manufacturers of collagen that supply about 80% of the world's collagen in a powder form, which could be used for shakes. It could be used as a capsule, you know, the way that you guys are used to buying your collagen. The majority of collagen all comes from bovine, which is cow. In various countries around the world, so the cow is farmed, and a type 1 collagen is literally from the hide. So it's the skin of the animal, and whether it's a pig, whether it's a cow, whether it's a fish, it's the skin. So type 1 comes from the skin, type 3 also comes from the skin, type 2 collagen comes from the bones of the animals, the ligaments, the joints of the animals, and then we get the more specialized collagen like Steph and I were talking about the other day. So the most predominant is bovine, as I've said, so that's a cow. The second most common is from pig. In South Africa, we don't generally see, it's called porcine. We don't generally see porcine, too much porcine on the shelves, just because we've got obviously a halal and a kosher element or aspect to that. So it's not very popular But here's something that I don't think anybody knows about collagen is porcine collagen, pig collagen is extremely potent. But unfortunately, it's not, you won't be able to find it in a lot of shops because of the halal and kosher status. So you also get, there's a term that we call marine collagen, which is very interesting. And maybe on another platform, on another webinar, we can chat about the oceans, and we can chat about how to save our oceans. Lisa and I were talking about it earlier. But marine collagen is sourced from fish in the ocean. They can't necessarily call it ocean fish collagen or salmon collagen or, you know, king clip collagen, bad example, because you're not 100% sure of what fish is actually used in that marine collagen. So legally, they can't actually, they have to call it marine collagen by law. So that's a very, very popular collagen. They did massive marketing campaigns, and we all have been led to believe that marine collagen is the best for skin. Not 100% accurate, but it's, yeah. So those are the top three. So we've got bovine, we've got marine, and we've got porcine. Chicken collagen, which most of our top 2 and our top 3 collagen in South Africa comes from chickens. It's the sternum of the chicken that is used, and there's 2 different types of collagen there. You get the hydrolyzed collagen, and you get a denatured, unhydrolyzed collagen in chicken. So that's the other source that it comes from. But the most common is bovine, it's cow, and it's a really good collagen. Depending on the manufacturer and depending on you know how serious they are about the quality control, you could get a really good product, or you could get quite an inferior collagen, actually, depending on the science that they use to actually do the process of hydrolysis. So then, because collagen is now a little bit too saturated worldwide, globally, these companies are starting to cleverly come up with and start focusing and doing trials on different types of collagen, and very successfully, I must say. So it's no longer just, you know, bovine collagen. We're now looking at highly specialized collagen peptides from like a jellyfish, which is being clinically trialed, from eggshell membrane, which is collagen X. So you're going to start seeing, I would say, probably in the next couple months to the next year, you're going to start seeing all these specialized collagens come on the marketplace, onto the marketplace. It's really good and it's great because these specialized collagens are highly clinically trialed. They are very expensive ingredients. They come with massive, massive science behind them. These guys have, you know, 10 years ago, these guys were already working on these different specialized collagen peptides. So from different sources, because even 10 years ago, they could see, and even I could see, that the collagen market was literally about to explode. And it has exploded, as you guys will know. So these new collagen peptides will start to come into the marketplace, which will be great, and it will be really exciting for us, and they will work on different parts of the body. So yeah, so I'm trying to think what else must I tell the guys before we go?
No, I think that's it. I think that's excellent.
Are you sure?
Yeah, totally. I love it. I think you know, there's some brands that get labeled around like, is this good collagen? And you know, but I don't want to do that. I don't want you to share your views. I know what your views are on certain collagens, very popular in the market in South Africa. I just think that something that I just grabbed from that is that a lot of people that consider what we have in the market today to be top class, just hang in there. There are ones coming onto the market now that Tony described. They are clinically proven. There's peer-reviewed studies. There's medical science behind it, and they're going to be a lot more expensive than what you find. But you know, I guess based upon the medical science and the stuff that's been done, it's going to be arguably more effective. And I think one of the things that you just said that was so beautiful is you can go on a collagen journey, but it's not about just the collagen that's going to fix you. It's about your lifestyle. And I think that's what we're going to get in. So Tony, thanks so much. I think that was excellent. And I love that, because I think it's a beautiful segue into probably what you and Carly will do is the lifestyle side of things.
Yeah, well, let's just be honest. I mean, collagen is one tiny part of it, right? It can help
Tiny.
with your joints, ligaments, tendons, hair, nails, skin, the whole thing, right? But at the end of the day, there's so much more that needs to be unpacked when it comes to all things nutrition, when it comes to sleep, when it comes to the exercise that we choose. So I can't wait to talk about my topic in a bit, which is all around the exercise factor. But I think let's hear from Carly next, who's going to talk about other aspects like inflammation and oxidative stress, liver detox, all sorts of things that I don't think, not everybody understands it 100%. We have had other webinars about these specific subjects, but the fact that all of these things together are an intricate network and they have to all be addressed. There is no magic pill or potion. You have to look at all the different aspects and say, what am I doing to improve all of them that is going to give me, a greater longevity? It's going to reduce the aging process. It is a complicated thing, but it's not impossible, and it's never too late to make that change. So Carly, I think you can go about your nutrition.
I made a co-host. I don't know if I can find her. Carly, can you unmute yourself and just say something?
Yes, can you hear me, see me?
So I'll see you now when you speak. Then
I'm going to share my screen in the meantime. So let's get that going. Okay, perfect. So can everybody see my screen? Evening. It's lovely to be here again. I hope everybody's keeping warm. I've got the heater right next to me because Joburg is freezing. So I'll be talking tonight about strictly nutrition and food and skin health. As Lisa mentioned, there's so many lifestyle factors that go into optimal skin health. And I think Lisa will touch on more of the lifestyle and the exercise side. I'm going to stick to my lane, which is food. And it's definitely the lane that excites me most and something we want to look at. So I think something to just think about, there's a lot of naysayers around, and a lot of people say what you eat doesn't impact your skin. You can eat as much chocolate as you want, as much sugar as you want, and it's not going to impact the health of your skin. I think if you just think about the way our bodies work and the cell turnover that happens every single day, where do the building blocks for those new cells come from? They don't come from the air that we breathe, they come from our food. So of course there's a connection. I think it's quite obvious there. And I'm not saying that food can treat skin conditions or skin pathologies, but they definitely can. It definitely can support greater skin health overall and holistic skin health. So when we look at some of the benefits that we can expect from food, not by itself, of course, there's a greater picture with skin care products, and lifestyle generally is really important. But we do have literature and research to show how certain elements in food, which we'll unpack, have been shown to improve skin hydration and elasticity. So that directly then links to decreased aging and wrinkling, improved skin barrier function. So just a healthier skin barrier, which is less reactive and less sensitive, decreased severity of inflammatory skin conditions like acne, eczema, and psoriasis. I've seen this in practice a lot. Increased protection against sunburn and UV damage. That's really interesting. And then improved wound healing. So nutrition plays a role in all of these different areas, and really, really interesting to understand the benefits. So Tony, I agree completely with everything she's mentioned, and I do have slides here on collagen which pretty much repeat what she said, so I'm not going to go through all of this at all. I think something, again, just to highlight that any vegan collagen is a scam. Plants don't make collagen. Okay, anything that says vegan collagen.
Carly, that's huge. Because I've seen a lot of vegans on shelves, vegan collagen around, a lot of people talking about it. So wow, so you're saying it's a scam? I've never heard that before.
But think about it, Steph. Do plants make collagen? No, they don't. So there's products that might help your body to produce its own collagen that might be rich in vitamin C and zinc and protein and other peptides, but it's not true collagen. So it's not, vegan collagen is, be careful with that. You could rather just be eating a healthy diet rich in protein and vitamin C and iron, because those are the nutritional building blocks of collagen that we are looking at. So I read an article and I saw that there is talk about vegan collagen being made and grown in a lab using GMO yeast and bacteria, but that's not widely available, and I think it would be highly expensive too. So just being careful of that.
Holly, wait, before you go on, I've got to, let me just, I know I've never done this before because I always let you like, wrap on this vegan collagen thing. So until there's an option on the market, essentially, if you are vegan, there's a lot of people on this webinar that's with vegan.
Vegetarian too.
No, well, yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is animals.
Yes.
So there is no alternative.
No, it comes from cattle, pigs, chicken, and marine sources. Those are that's where collagen, the actual structural protein, is found. It's not found in a piece of lettuce, unfortunately. So you can't extract it from plants.
So that's it, folks. So if you're on the call and you're vegan, you can drop off now. But
there's lots of other things you can do. It's not the be all and end all.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Thanks.
But I think don't waste your money and just focus on, like I mentioned earlier, the nutritional components of collagen synthesis within the body, which is getting in enough protein in your diet. And even if you are vegan and vegetarian, you can make sure you're getting all of the complete amino acids. And then number 2, getting in enough vitamin C, because that helps with the structural synthesis of protein, of collagen. And then number 3, getting in enough iron. Those 3 are really important to help your body make collagen naturally. And then avoiding the sun, because sun is the major cause of collagen breakdown as well. So being careful from a sun damage perspective. So there's lots you can do if you are vegan or vegetarian. Hope is not all lost, but I think it's important just to be aware of that. And something that is interesting here with collagen is that we lose about 1% of our collagen per year after the age of 18. So add that up, it's quite a rapid decline. And by the time we reach 80, we have approximately a quarter of the collagen left in our skin compared to when we were younger. So of course, little collagen in the skin does result in weak, wrinkly, saggy, and aged skin. So the collagen supplements, it's a small but growing amount of clinical trials showing promise. Ideally, hydrolyzed is what's been used in a lot of the trials, and aiming for at least 5 to 10 grams of collagen per day. And as Tony mentioned, a mixture of types. Okay, so that's really the evidence around collagen. And just on the side note there, it has been shown to help improve joint pain and symptoms of osteoarthritis, but the research around collagen improving gut health is not quite there yet, unfortunately. Okay, so then the next topic that I want to chat about is antioxidants and skin health. So antioxidants are essentially plant-based chemicals and phytochemicals that really have incredible benefits for skin health and overall skin radiance. And the group I want to highlight today, because I find it so interesting, is a group of antioxidants called carotenoids. So carotenoids are essentially the groups of foods that are fruit and vegetables that are rich in yellow and red and orange pigments. So you'll see a lot of the foods here, your tomatoes and carrots and yellow orange sweet potatoes and all of your yellow orange fruit and veggies, and they are all really, really rich in carotenoids. So carotenoids have been shown to be antioxidant in nature to the skin. So what that means is that they have the ability to protect the skin against free radical damage from pollution or from smoking. Obviously, it's not going to undo smoking, but secondhand smoke in the environment. And then they kind of act like internal sunblock and sun protection. Don't eat carrots to replace your sun cream. That's not a good idea, but they do help protect the skin against UV damage, which is really important. They help to boost skin radiance. They help with collagen support and synthesis. They're anti-inflammatory, and they've been shown to boost moisture and hydration levels of the skin. So all of these different types here of all the different groups of carotenoids, beta carotene, alpha carotene, lycopene, lutein, and zeaxanthin, and then astaxanthin as well, are the major groups of carotenoids which have been clinically proven to show benefit in the skin. So all of these different foods are really, really important to try and increase in your day-to-day. The guidelines are to aim for between 200 to 400 grams of these veggies and fruits per day. You'll see some of them are found in wild salmon and trout and shrimp. It's that astaxanthin is actually the pigment that gives the pink color to salmon and trout and krill oil and lobster and things like that. So it's not only fruit and veggies, but majority of these foods are your yellow and orange fruit and veg, and red lycopene tomatoes, tomato paste, really, really helpful. And then you'll see here, which is interesting, spinach is mentioned and broccoli is mentioned, and you'll think, but that's not yellow and that's not orange and that's not red. It's because the chlorophyll, which is the green pigment in spinach and broccoli, overpowers the carotenoid pigment from a color perspective, but these foods are still really rich in these carotenoid pigments. So 200 to 400 grams minimum of a mixture of these foods. So it doesn't have to be all of them, but a combination and a variety is really important. And then they are actually best absorbed when cooked and when paired with a dietary fat. So if you drizzle a bit of olive oil over your roast sweet potato, amazing, because that's really going to be highly bioavailable and well absorbed. So I think that's quite a debate that I hear with a lot of my patients. They say, I try not to eat cooked veggies. I only eat raw veggies because that's when they're most beneficial. It's not entirely the case. It depends on the antioxidant that you're looking at. So in the case of carotenoids, we actually prefer cooked. And then carotenoids are not the only group of antioxidants that we're looking at. There are some other ones which have really important functions in skin health as well. So resveratrol, which is found in your purple and deep red and blue fruits and veggies, so berries and plums and grapes. That has been shown to have amazing anti-inflammatory benefits to the skin and also protects against UV damage. And then vitamin C, of course, in all of our citrus fruits and tomatoes and kiwi fruit and red peppers, protects against sun damage and can help to prevent and improve the appearance of pigmentation. Vitamin E has been shown to help with moisture and skin barrier function. And then flavonoids are a group of antioxidants found in things like dark chocolate and cacao or cocoa and teas. And they've been shown to help reduce redness of the skin and support collagen synthesis. So essentially the takeaway message from the last two slides is really just try and up the intake of all of your colorful fruits and veggies and try to eat as many different types as you can every single day. And I think just looking at my practice, and I see lots and lots of clients and lots of women each and every day, and I really can tell a massive difference between the ones who I know are eating this way and eating a high intake of plant-based foods. Their skin is phenomenal. They look 10 years younger than they actually are, and it really does make a difference over time. And then the next area I want to chat about is going back to gut health, not as in depth as our last webinar, but really important because we're looking at the gut-skin axis. And the gut-skin axis is essentially the bidirectional communication between the microbes on our skin and the microbes in our gut. So those little bacterial species are talking to each other all the time, the bacteria in our skin and the bacterial in our gut. So often we see this when gut health is impaired or when gut health is suboptimal, the skin tends to flare up. Eczema is more likely to occur or a breakout happens. So it's really important to go back to those recommendations of the gut health webinar and focus on looking after your gut health to improve the overall quality of your skin. We know that when gut barrier function is impaired, toxins and viruses and bacteria are more easily able to translocate the gut lining and into the bloodstream and increase inflammation within the skin. So basic recap there, we're looking for diversity and variety of beneficial microbial species within the gut, and that is induced by getting in a diversity and variety of plant foods. So trying to aim for 30 different types of plant foods per week as a minimum. Prebiotic rich foods and fibers. So again, this encompasses all of your resistant starch rich foods. So bananas and artichokes and onions and garlic, and then fiber, all of your legumes and chickpeas and lentils and chia seeds and flax seeds, really helpful to feed the beneficial bacteria within our guts. And then probiotic rich foods and supplements. Again, we're looking for at least 9 strain probiotics, and quality control here is really important. Focus on food-based sources to yogurt and kombucha and kefir and those sorts of things. Stress management, really important to help calm inflammation within the gut and have a direct impact on skin health. And then, of course, looking after your gut health issues with a healthcare practitioner. And then I said question mark probiotic containing skincare here. There are some brands, some more natural brands on the market that have put probiotics into their moisturizers and into their skincare to help nourish the actual skin microbiome, which I think is really interesting. Just another point on that with skincare, I know I'm talking about food, but just to go back to the collagen side of things, you will also see on the market loads of moisturizers and masks and skin health products for your skin saying that they contain collagen. This is also a scam. It's not possible for collagen to actually be absorbed into the skin topically through a moisturizer, so be careful of that. Okay, get it in orally, but through a topical cream or moisturizer, not going to work. And then when we have a look here at inflammation and skin, so tying back to the gut-skin axis, I think all of these pathways are so integrally linked and so connected, which is so important. And I think if you're really struggling with a reactive skin, if you're struggling with a skin that is always red and always flaking and always sensitive to different products and just not a happy skin, essentially lots of eczema or psoriasis, itchiness, it really is pointing back to chronic inflammation. And we know that this chronic inflammation can trigger and or worsen all of those inflammatory skin conditions, and it can disrupt the normal functioning of skin cells, leading to redness, swelling, and an impaired skin barrier. So these are some of the most important takeaway guidelines for managing inflammation through diet and lifestyle. I could go on about this for weeks, but these are the important takeaways. So anti-inflammatory foods, essentially I describe these as water foods. They're foods that act like water or a fire extinguisher to this chronic inflammatory fire that might be burning within our systems. And then the pro-inflammatory foods are petrol foods. So they rev up the fire within our bodies and especially within our skins as well. So making sure that you're getting enough omega-3 rich foods in your diet. Fish, salmon, trout, sardines, mackerel. If you are vegan or vegetarian, you will need to look at an algae-based supplement of omega-3, and then other healthy mono and polyunsaturated fats, avo, olive oil, nuts, seeds, really helpful at calming that inflammatory response and improving the quality of your skin barrier. Cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, and rosemary are just some of the herbs and spices that have amazing anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits. Fiber, prebiotics, probiotics, linking back to gut health in there, a high intake of colorful fruit and veggies, so at least 4 cups of veg or salad per day, and at least 1 to 2 servings of fruit, minimum. More than that, brilliant, but that is an absolute minimum. And then adequate vitamin D levels. I've been seeing low vitamin D in all of my patients recently when I'm testing bloods. It is so common. And we know that vitamin D is inversely linked to inflammation. So the lower your vitamin D levels, the higher your inflammation, the higher your vitamin D, the lower your chronic inflammation. It's so easy to moderate that. I can see Steph probably hasn't been taking his vitamin D and now he's stressing about it. So it's really is an easy one to correct. Get your levels tested. Optimal ranges for vitamin D should be but somewhere between 40 and 60 in a blood test. And then looking at the pro-inflammatory side, so we know sugar elicits an inflammatory response within the body. Another topic I've been chatting about often in practice this week and the last week is lots of patients are saying to me, I don't have any sugar. I don't add any sugar to my coffee or my tea or my cereal, but I add honey. And they're so proud of themselves for replacing sugar with honey. Guys, honey is sugar. It has the same glycemic response in your body. It affects your body in the exact same way as white Hewlett's table sugar. Okay, so don't make that mistake. All of these sugars on the market, coconut sugar, agave syrup, they are all still sugars. Be careful with that. Honey has a little bit of an antibacterial and anti-inflammatory property if you've got a sore throat, but beyond that, it's still sugar. And then your white carbohydrate products, so white breads and white flours and all of your refined carbohydrates that have been stripped of their beautiful fiber, that's also going to drive up inflammation. Hydrogenated and trans fats, so these are the types of fats that they use in commercial baking and making of pastries and biscuits and chocolates. Those hydrogenated fats are really pro-inflammatory. Saturated fats as well, coming primarily from animal products, so the fat on a piece of steak, or full fat or double cream dairy products, butter. Again, I say excessive here because I think it's important that there is a balance. It's not to say that never eat these foods ever again, but just be careful to make sure that the good, the left-hand side, outweighs the right-hand side, and you're getting at least 80% of your diet coming from the left-hand side. And there's room for treats, but just make sure it's not excessive. High stress, we know, spikes up inflammation dramatically as well. And then a high intake of alcohol and caffeine, which I'm also seeing a lot recently, because lots of people, as Steph mentioned, are burned out and stressed, and we're seeing this clinically. We're seeing this in blood tests. I'm seeing it in patients all the time, and a lot of people are using caffeine to get themselves going during the day, and then wine or alcohol to calm down. So yeah, that roller coaster is common, but it's important to understand that effect with inflammation too. And then liver detox and skin. This is one of my favorite areas to work on when we're looking at a DNA health report. And if somebody has sluggish liver detox genes, or if they carry variations on the genes that regulate liver detoxification and biotransformation, we can expect skin issues, and we can expect some sort of unhappy skin condition. So liver detox plays a really important role in the health and the appearance of our skin. It's the primary organ responsible for filtering and detoxifying toxins, chemicals, drugs being medicines, and metabolic waste products from the bloodstream, delivering clean blood flow to the skin. So one of the really important functions that we're wanting to highlight of the liver is hormone metabolism. So your liver is really important for getting rid of stale, old, useless, potentially harmful hormones, okay? And we know that if there are these imbalances in our hormones, and if you find that at certain times of the month, if you're a woman, you tend to break out more than others, or your skin isn't as maybe hydrated or plump or glowing as it normally is in certain times of the cycles, I've definitely picked that up and noticed it. It's because of these fluctuating hormones, and particularly estrogen is what we're looking at. And estrogen, there's not just one type of estrogen in the body. There are so many. And we say we've got Cinderella estrogens and we've got ugly sister estrogens. So we have types of estrogens that are so helpful to health and mood and skin. And then we have the ugly sisters, which can be particularly dangerous if they hang around in our body for too long. So liver and hormone metabolism really do go hand in hand. And I've had a few patients do their DNA, and one of their goals was to come off the birth control pill. And we know that the birth control pill is used often for acne or for breakouts that can't be controlled. It's just prescribed, here you go, take this and just get on with it. But it's not a long-term fix, and it's not something that you can stay on forever. So I've had a few patients who are nervous to come off the birth control pill because they're worried their skin is going to be really reactive and really break out, and really scared of that. So we work on liver detox quite a lot, and they manage, and the results really have been amazing by focusing on the right supplements, the right nutrition to support the liver. Really important. So that estrogen dominance can contribute to skin problems like acne, oily skin, or rosacea. So proper liver function is really important for maintaining that hormonal balance, and there's lots we can do to support the liver. So some of my top tips for liver detox here: drinking enough water, obviously. I read an interesting article posted by a dermatologist the other day, actually, and she was saying that there's such a big difference in how tap water versus mineral water affects the hydration of our skin. So tap water can actually dehydrate your skin, whereas mineral water can help to hydrate your skin. So just being careful that you either filtering or drinking mineral water, and then increasing the intake of cruciferous veggies. So cruciferous veggies, these types of vegetables often are better raw. So the carotenoids we like preferably cooked, but cruciferous being broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, rocket, watercress. These veggies contain an amazing antioxidant called sulforaphane, and sulforaphane acts on the liver detox genes and gets things moving a little bit quicker, gets that waste removal pathway happening a little bit more effectively. So at least a handful or a cup of those cruciferous veggies per day has amazing benefit on hormone balance. Rebounding, of course, is so important for lymphatic drainage and supporting the liver. Getting enough sleep, because that's actually when your body does its job of detoxification. Consuming sufficient protein. So this is another mistake I see a lot of people making, is they'll try and do a detox, but it will be just a juice cleanse or just a veggie soup cleanse. Not great for the liver. Your liver needs amino acids to actually do its job, and amino acids come from protein. That doesn't have to be meat. It could be totally plant-based proteins, but make sure you're getting in enough protein. And then doing an environmental audit. So an environmental audit, we are looking at what cosmetics are you using, what sprays are you using in your house, what cleaning products are you using, what deodorant are you using? Could we switch those potentially to more natural, non-chemical based products? Because a lot of these cosmetic and home care cleaning products contain something called xenoestrogens, which are hormonal disruptors essentially. So they come into our systems and they mess up our body's ability to naturally regulate hormone balance. So just being careful of that. And then I think a lot of people don't know enough about this report. The DNA Skin Report, which we offer, is such an amazing, detailed, well-researched report, which gives you a personalized approach to skin health and skin care. It's not just looking at diet. It's not just looking at lifestyle. It actually has been revamped. I think it was beginning of last year or the end of 2021, but it's been revamped to include specific ingredients that you need to look out for in your topical skincare products. So it's really specific and it's really helpful, and it goes into your genetic predisposition to skin sensitivities, inflammation, pigmentation, sun damage, as well as firmness and elasticity. So Tony mentioned earlier, of course, genetics play a massive role in your body's ability to repair broken or damaged collagen and to synthesize new collagen. And that's exactly what we're looking at in this report. We're looking at how well equipped are you genetically to produce collagen and protect against all of these other areas? And if you're not, if you have weaker genes in these areas, what are the evidence-based dietary, lifestyle, supplementation, exercise, and then of course your proper skincare ingredient recommendations to support all of those areas? It's such a lovely report. I love skincare, and I think it's so amazing how science has come around and shown how we can personalize it, because again, there's so many different products on the market, and there's so many different brands, and there's so many different ingredients, and there's vitamin C, and there's this, and there's that, and there's niacinamide. And how do you know what's going to target your biggest concern? A report like this would really, really be beneficial. So that's me. I'm on time for once, I hope. I hope. Maybe you said otherwise, but I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, as usual. I mean, just incredible insights and all of that. I've shared some links. I put the link in just for the DNA test. So if you want to kind of take a look at our DNA test, that page is very, very detailed around DNA testing and all of that. So take a look at that. I do recommend a pre-consult with Carly, and I'm actually going to put that link into the chat right now, because a lot of people think, okay, what do I do? Like, you've got all these DNA tests, everything. Like, where do I begin? That pre-consultation, we put it up on the site so you can spend 15, 20 minutes with Carly and go into all the details. She'll ask you all the key questions, establish where you're at, and then she'll guide you to say DNA skin and maybe another test that complements it. And then those two reports could be something. Maybe it's not even a DNA test. Maybe it's something completely different. It's just a lifestyle change or something from a dietetics perspective. So we've seen that becoming like really, really popular. It's the pre-consult with Carly, just to kind of get to where am I at. Carly, thank you so much, as usual. Amazing. And I'm gonna kind of hand over to Lisa Raleigh. And I know that you're going to be talking about more the lifestyle aspect of things. More
exercise, to be honest, because Steph like hit me under the chair saying, stick to time. So I'm like, okay, what do I speak about? what is the most important thing for me to kind of get across tonight when it comes to exercising and also staying in my lane and making sure that I impart some kind of knowledge so that I can leave that with you tonight in 15 minutes. Okay, so we all know how good exercise is for us. Okay, we know that it's good for our brain, and we know that it's good for our cells. We know it's good for our cardiovascular system. It's going to make us feel better because of all those happy hormones that are secreted when we exercise. We always feel better at the end of a workout. Maybe not immediately because we still like shattered, but within a few minutes we feel elated, we feel calmer, we feel like we can cope. We definitely, the mood has been lifted, our perspective has changed. So we all know that there's so many benefits to exercising. And we also know that if we don't use it, we lose it. So if we are not moving our bodies, if we're not spending time on our fitness, on our flexibility, then we are going to lose it in time. So as you get older, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you are going to suffer from, muscle atrophy, and osteoporosis could be, in your predisposition according to DNA. And then because you're not doing weight-bearing activity, it's something that it kind of like becomes your reality because you haven't done anything about doing any weight-bearing like exercise. But when you are fit and healthy, you are more agile, you are more flexible, you are more able, you have more energy. And a lot of people say to me, like, I don't have the energy for exercise, Lisa. Like, I am so tired all the time. I am so busy. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that is the mentality that you have no energy to exercise. But when you do prioritize exercise, it is actually unbelievable how much energy exercise gives you. And that's why I'm yawning so much tonight. Steph's like, stop yawning. I'm like, because I've done all the wrong things today. I went to bed late last night. I didn't get enough sleep. I have not moved my body. I did not exercise today, which is very unusual for me. And it's late right now. So I've done like all the wrong things. And what I'm yawning. I feel exhausted. And that's after one day of not doing all the things I know are good for my body. So imagine doing that 7 days, for 20 weeks at a time, and you start to wonder why you have got no energy, no motivation, etc. Okay, so just in a nutshell, I want to talk about probably the most important things when it comes to exercise and metabolism and anti-aging, because that is really why we are here tonight, to talk about how can we age a little bit slower, how can we look better for longer, and how do we do that from within. So we all know that there's different elements to an exercise regime that makes it balanced. Okay, so you get your cardiovascular fitness, and then you get your musculoskeletal fitness, and then you get your flexibility. Okay, those are the three things that you need to look at when you have your weekly regime mapped out in front of you, saying, what exercise am I going to do? What classes am I going to book in for? And how do I make sure that my exercise routine is super balanced so that I can tick all the boxes? So cardiovascular fitness is good for certain things. Okay, number one, it makes us sweat. We feel good. It secretes those happy hormones, those endorphins, and we feel better. It also is really fantastic at burning calories whilst you are doing it. So if you are looking to lose some weight or some body fat, you are going to burn calories whilst you do cardiovascular fitness. And you're going to create that calorie deficit that you need in order to lose the weight or the body fat and achieve those weight loss goals. And a lot of people, especially as they get older, hormones are changing, metabolic rate is changing, thyroid's changing, middle age spread is happening, and weight loss is a goal. Right, cardiovascular fitness, why do we do it besides these things? We need to strengthen our heart. And that is really important for reducing our risk of cardiovascular disease, lowering one's cholesterol, reducing blood pressure, and those very scary things like strokes and heart attack. The number one killer in the world right now is heart attack, okay, heart disease. So how do we protect our heart, the thing that is keeping us going all day long? You kind of just expect it to carry on, right? It's like, it's my ticker, it's my heart, and it just do what it does. But we can help it along to do its job better and more efficiently and create less stress on the heart over time. So less stress means that it needs to pump less, like less times per minute, per day, per lifetime in order to do the same job. Poor heart. I mean, it has to pump, 80 times a minute. Poor thing. Surely we can try and help it along by reducing that to 40 or 50 times per minute. and reduce how many times it has to pump to get that blood around our body, to deliver all those nutrients, to deliver oxygen to all of our cells, including our facial cells, so that we can look better and more radiant, detoxify our bodies. So it is very, very important to stress our hearts. And I think this is where a lot of people don't understand that a heart is a muscle, just like a bicep, just like a glute muscle, like a quadricep or a hamstring. Your heart is a muscle. And if you do not stress your heart to a certain percentage, your heart will not grow like a muscle grows. And the whole idea behind that is that if your muscle is bigger, then it's going to be more forceful when it pumps. And so each pump is going to do the job better. It's going to be able to push that blood around the body a lot more effectively with less pumps. The smaller the heart muscle, so the less you strain it, smaller it is not forceful. It is going to have to pump many times per minute, per hour, per day, per month, per year to get that same amount of blood around the body. So the key is to grow our heart muscle so that it can be bigger, more powerful, more forceful, and it pumps less strain on the heart in time because it's pumping less frequently. The only way we do that is to do cardiovascular exercise that is stressful. So that is your moderate to high intensity cardiovascular exercise. And that is different for everyone depending on one's age. So you take 220, everybody can do the calculations. You can write it down and do it later. 220 minus your age, and that will give you your maximum heart rate. Now we need to be working at 70 to 85% of your maximum, which changes as you get older, thank goodness, for 30 consecutive minutes, 5 days a week. Okay, I don't know how many people in my virtual room right now are doing that. 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise a week is the minimum. Okay, that's not like ideal, that's the minimum. Very few people are doing that. And consecutive exercise. So I dare you all for the next week to put on those trackers, those heart rate monitors, and track your heart. Put it in the back end of the app. That's the easiest way. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, you can use your carotid artery, where you be quiet, time on your cell phone for 1 minute, and you count how many beats, okay? And you do your exercise. Halfway through, do it again, write it down. At the end of your exercise, hold it again, 1 minute, count how many beats and write it down. And make sure that you're getting your heart rate up to 100 to 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. Okay, that is absolutely critical so that we stress our hearts, we grow our heart muscle, and then we give our hearts a bit of a break actually, so that it can pump less frequently. So cardiovascular fitness is really important for increasing one's longevity, reducing our risk of cholesterol and heart disease and high blood pressure and all of those things. So cardio is one small aspect of one's training. If you look at somebody that does a lot of cardio, so now I'm talking 30 minutes, right? Which is quick. It's kind of like HIIT workouts or a quick 5K run or a quick swift rebounding class. It's quick, it's to the point, it's high intensity, your heart rate's hitting those maximums, and in 30 minutes you're done. That is all that is needed really if you're getting your heart rate up there. So cardiovascular fitness, one tick box. Now, the problem with cardio is that you burn calories during that workout, and the minute you're done, within a few minutes, depending on your fitness level, your heart rate is back down to where it started. Okay, so your calorie burn was that. It was that 30 minutes or that 1 hour, you burned 400 calories, 300, 500, 800, depending on how much you weigh. And that was where it ended. That's where it ended. Okay. And then workout complete. Now, I want to tell you about something else that I think a lot of people don't get. And that is the importance of resistance training if you're wanting to delay or slow down aging. And why this is so important and the afterburn effects. Okay, it is absolutely critical. Ladies, if you are walking around the block thinking that that is exercise with your pooches because you're ticking all those boxes, it's quality time, it's whatever, it is not enough. If you are doing Pilates and yoga, it is not enough. If you're going to the gym and just doing basic weight training without getting your heart rate up, It is not enough. You might be doing the strength component, but you're not doing the cardio. If you're going for a run, you are doing the cardio component, but you are not looking after the strength component. You are not doing the right thing when it comes to having a balanced routine. You will not get the body you want and deserve for all that effort you're putting in, all that time and energy. So it is important, ladies, to do resistance weight-bearing exercise. This can be with your own body weight. It can be with dumbbells, resistance bands, exercise equipment. Luckily for those that are on the call that are already rebounding because it's a form of weight-bearing activity, and we'll get into that a little bit in a few minutes. But what is important about doing resistance training is the fact that we are taxing our muscle mass, and our muscles are so incredible. They burn more calories. So the more muscle mass we have in our bodies, the more calories we burn whilst we are just sitting, listening to this webinar, okay? Whilst you are sleeping, whilst you are working and doing a Zoom call, whilst you are doing anything or nothing at all, your muscle mass is burning fuel like a furnace all day long. So the more muscle mass you've got on your body, the higher your metabolic rate and the more calories you're burning all the time. The only way to build lean muscle mass is to work with resistance. End of story. You cannot walk your way to that body you want, to increasing that muscle mass that you need to boost one's metabolic rates. But what I love the most about it is that your calorie burn isn't necessarily so fantastic when you do a weight training session, right? It could be probably actually 50% less calories than you would burn if you did a really good cardio session. So you're like, I'm going to rather stick to cardio. I mean, I burned 500 calories in that cardio session, in that run. And I did my weight training session, I burned 280. Like, no, I'm not, I think I must just stick to cardio. And that's what happens, is that burn whilst you're doing it is much higher. But there is something called the afterburn effect. So when we do train muscles, we are actually developing these tiny microscopic tears in our muscle mass. Every time we do squats, lunges, push-ups, you're on a rebounder, every time you're doing weight-bearing activity, resistance training, you're actually tearing your muscles. That's why it's really important to have a good balanced diet with your fats and your carbs and your protein, because what happens is you've got this tear, you eat properly, protein, there's a little protein sheath, right, that develops over that tear like a plaster. And every time you do that session again, you're tearing that muscle again, you're creating another little microscopic tear, another protein sheath is coming over it, is filling in, and so it goes. And you do that 5 days a week, you do that 4 weeks of a month, you do that 52 weeks of the year, and those little fibers, those little protein sheets start growing, and so muscle mass starts to develop, and it takes time, weeks and months and years, but it gets there. And with this whole process of repairing broken or torn muscles creates the afterburn effects, because it requires so many calories to do that. You don't get that when you run and do cardiovascular exercise, unless it is hectic sprint training, like you see with your 100-meter sprinters. So if you just look at that analogy for a second, look at a long distance runner, a comrades runner, somebody that is running, 15. Oh, there we go. There's my timer. Stop. Look at a comrades runner or anyone that's doing long distance cardio. Generally, no muscle shape, high body fat percentage, very little definition. They don't have the best bodies, to be honest, unless they are trained athletes. They have dietitians at their beck and call. Most of them that have the good bodies are doing resistance training, strength training. They are doing a whole cross section of exercise to give them that body. If you're only running and you are only doing that, only cardiovascular exercise, there's a 90% chance, 99% chance that your body does not look fantastic. Too much wear and tear, too much oxidative stress, way too much inflammation. You're puffy, you retain water, and you're overtraining, you're stressing your body out, you're aging your cells every single day. That is what people that do too much cardio look like. And we can tell from a mile away. Okay, I can look at somebody and say, you are doing too much cardio. Stop doing that cardio, because you are aging yourself like you have no idea. So cardio, you stop burning the calories when you end. With weight training, resistance training, weight bearing activity, you might burn less calories during the workout, but you will continue to burn calories for 24 hours after you finish that weight training workout. Your metabolism can be up by 10 to 15% for 24 hours. So you do the math. Are you going to burn more calories during a cardiovascular exercise, which ends in 30 to 60 minutes, where you burn 500 calories? Or are you going to burn more calories over 24 hours when you do a strength training session, where you burn 250 or 280 during, but then your basal metabolic rate is elevated by 10% for 24 hours thereafter? You do the math. Okay, you are going to burn way more calories during a strength training session, or resistance training session, and you are also tearing those muscles, growing them, and changing your body shape. You're building those shoulders. Okay, you are strengthening your back. You are building that core. You are tightening your booty. You're getting the definition that you need. You are building and changing your body shape. So resistance training is the only way you are going to change your basal metabolic rate, and you are going to slow down aging. Okay, it is the only way to do it. If somebody had to say to me tomorrow, you have to choose, Lisa, you've got a noose around your neck, cardio or strength for the rest of your life. You're an exercise fanatic. Which one? I would choose strength in a heartbeat, because I know I would get bang for my buck. I know I'd get results. I know that during a strength session doesn't mean you stand there going 1 and 2 and 3. How boring. If you add a rebounder to that, you could be bouncing whilst you do your weight training. And guess what? Your heart rate is elevated to 70 to 80% whilst you are bouncing and doing your strength training. So that is why, one of the many reasons why I choose to rebound as opposed to standing statically on the floor, counting repetitions, wasting my time and energy, and reducing my heart rate while I do weights. I like the dynamic, explosive movement of being on a rebounder because it's low impact. It is classified weight-bearing activity, which is important for building lean muscle tissue and changing basal metabolic rates. It gets my heart rate up whilst I'm doing strength training. So ticking 2 boxes at the same time. I think I mentioned the lymphatic system, so it helped me with so much with water retention and puffiness all over my body. It's very good for my core stability and my balance, and proprioception, which is something that is really challenged as we get older, and that is body awareness. Where am I in relation to my height, the edge of the rebounder, the floor, everywhere? It's your body awareness. Your proprioception is your sixth sense. And you work with proprioception every minute that you're on a rebounder because you are unstable. And that is your body's job. Try and get stability. And for as long as you're bouncing, you are unstable. So you are working with proprioception the entire time. So bang for my buck, resistance training, cardiovascular training, low impact, and lymphatic stimulation. So that is why I choose to do the rebounding, because I don't want to have to go for a run. I don't have a lot of time. I don't want the water retention and the swollenness that comes with overtraining and going and pounding the pavements. And I also don't want the boredom of standing in a gym, whether at home or in the Virgin Active, and counting repetitions over and over again. I can't think of anything worse. So ladies, one last little thing that I have to end on here. The thing with muscle mass, though, that so many women are scared of is the fact that it's heavier. It's dense, though. It takes up less space, but it's heavier. So when it comes to weighing yourself, this is a big problem, because if you're going by the scale and that is how you're defining your success, you will never stick to a weight training program, because you will be very disappointed and demotivated all the time. Let me give you a quick analogy that will hopefully stick with you for the rest of your life. If you can imagine 100 grams, right? Now imagine a little marble weighing 100 grams, and imagine your little Pilates ball, the little ones that, or beach ball, weighing 100 grams. Your marble is small, compact, it's heavy, it's dense, it takes up less space, okay? Your little beach ball, Pilates ball, is light, it's fluffy, it's airy, and it takes up a lot of space. Both of them on the scale weigh 100 grams. But the one is bigger, takes up more space. If you can think of that being fats, and then this little marble being muscle, what would you rather be? Lean, firm, tight, small, compact, toned, and look strong, and have a fast metabolism, so much so that you can eat the foods you love, You can get away with murder when you're traveling, and you can cook and you can bake and you can do all those things because you've got this really strong metabolic rate. Or would you rather be light on the scale, never get away with murder? You gain weight just by looking at carbohydrates, and you've got this round body that is light. You weigh 50 kgs, but you round like a ball, or you weigh 60 kgs and you are tight and look amazing. Okay, and I've said this on other webinars before. You'll notice a woman walking past, or a gent walking past you on the beach, and they look incredible. You can see that they definitely work out. They take a lot of care over their physique and health and fitness. Not one person would look at that human being walking along the beach and think, I wonder what he or she weighs. You just don't think that. It doesn't even come, over your brain. You're just looking at that human being saying, wow, that is a specimen, hey? They are beautiful. So I don't know, this fixation on the scale is a huge concern. It's something that I speak about in detail sometimes when I do speeches and whatnot. I go into like a lot of detail about body composition, metabolic rates, muscle mass versus fat mass. And I don't have the time to do it tonight, but I just want you to know that you can go and have an in-body test done at lots of different dietitians around the country. Find out where you can go and get an in-body test. In Joburg, though, you can get an in-body test in our store on the weekends, and it won't cost you anything. So you can come in, have that in-body test done Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and that test takes 2 minutes, barefoot, and we will email you your report. And from there, you can plan your goals, and you can come and have it done once a month if you want to. You can go have it done with Carly as well. She does it as part of her consultations. And you can look at, what is my weight made up of? Who cares what the weight is? I want to know muscle mass. I want to know bone mass. I want to know your visceral fats, the fat that is surrounding your organs, not just the fat that's on the outside that you can see. We know that it's not good. What about the fat that's around the organs that's actually more dangerous? So throw away those scales and think to yourself, if I'm incorporating resistance training, I am going to be building muscle, and muscle is 18 to 20% denser and heavier than fat, but it burns more calories every second. It is so incredible. And that's what us ladies need to be focusing on, is building muscle mass, improving our metabolic rates, filling our skin, and making sure that we don't age prematurely because now we don't use our muscles. The muscles have shrunk. Okay, it's called detraining or muscle atrophy. Your muscles shrink and your skin starts to hang like a sack over the muscles that were there before. And that's also a big problem with ladies, is as they get older, they stop doing the resistance training, and then their muscles are smaller, their skin is the same, and their skin starts to hang. So it's not necessarily that you've lost 100% collagen in 2 years. It's that you stopped training and now your skin is hanging on you because your muscle mass is no longer there. So ladies, if you learned anything today, it's please don't focus just on the cardiovascular exercise. The cardiovascular exercise is only good for a few things: heart rates, building the heart muscle, calorie expenditure, and making sure you create a calorie deficit, okay? Mood, emotion, all of that. But the weight training, the resistance training is how you're going to defy aging. It's how you're going to look good for longer. It's how you're going to boost your metabolic rates. It's how you're going to burn more calories, drink more wine, do the things you love, change your body shape, feel great, and also be taxing. When you tax your muscles, you also build bone density. So it's the other part of it is that the more you do resistance training and weight-bearing exercise, the stronger your bones are going to be, which is also something you need to consider when you get older. So just know, less calorie burn when you do weight training workouts, okay? But the afterburn is insane. That is why I incorporate so much resistance training when I do a rebounding class. More than 50% of my workouts on my rebounder incorporate a lot of lunges, squats, push-ups, jumping squats, you name it.
Why we never go to your classes.
Because I'm so particular about making sure that ladies, men, are building muscle mass.
100%.
Okay, so I want to stop. I want to go into so much more detail.
But you know what? I did do. I supplemented everything that you said in the chat. So for those of you, just take a look at the chat. copy and paste what I put into the chat, and this is exactly what Lisa's speaking about. It talks about metabolic rates, it talks about resistance versus this, and thank goodness for AI. So the AI just supplemented everything that you said. So just grab the stuff in the chat.
Last thing, because I know you're going to say time. Okay, so a lot of the time when ladies go on calorie deficit diets, okay, they don't exercise whilst they're on a diet. So they're just focusing on nutrition first, right? And now they lose a lot of weight really quickly. 90% of the time, what they're actually losing is, yes, a little bit of body fat, but they're losing a lot of muscle mass because they're under eating. So their calories are too low. They're not training because they don't have the energy half the time, or they're just focusing on one thing at a time. They can't do both. So they're not exercising enough. They're calorie deficiting. They're losing muscle mass, which actually is very heavy. And it contains a lot of our body's water and our hydration. So you're jumping on the scale and the weight is falling off. But what you are doing is losing your precious, your muscle mass and your metabolic rates. So body fat loss is like this. Muscle mass loss is like this. So the weight on the scale is just, it's coming off. But the problem is that you're losing the most precious commodity, and that is your muscle mass. And it's so hard to regain. So ladies, if you are on a weight loss mission, please make sure it incorporates your strength training, your cardiovascular fitness, and that you're exercising whilst you're on a beautiful, healthy eating plan that hopefully Carly does for you. That combination of the two together, healthy eating and exercising, is going to guarantee that you don't destroy your muscle mass ratio and destroy your metabolic rates, land up a lot lighter, but a lot like your skin is hanging, your metabolism's messed up, you gain all the weight back again, plus another 5 kgs because of what you've done to your metabolic rates. It's so sad. It's
so you know what?
And I see it all the time.
Okay, so listen, one of the things that, for those of you that have hung on, because a lot of you are still on here, and I just want to, because you've hung on, no special or anything like we used to do, because we don't want to do that. But one of the things we just want to announce is that we said, we gave a glimpse of this, but Lisa always has so much to say, and we always kind of squash it into 15, 20 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're launching a podcast. So we're starting the recordings this coming week, and it's going to be called Being You. We're very excited about it. So this is just like a preview glimpse. So it's going to be 2 of us. We'll have special guests. Carly will be on that podcast. I don't even think Carly knows that. Yeah. We're going to like disclose that to Carly. So we're going to start recording next week. And in there, you'll be able to spend an entire hour sharing what you want to share, because there's so much information that
like this. I would love to have spent an hour and 10 minutes just talking about how this all works in the body, to get ladies to kind of buy in and understand, because I think when you really understand it, you can never unlearn it. And then that becomes your go-to. Like, you will never look at cardio the same. You'll never look at a rebounder the same. You'll never look at strength training the same. And you'll never look at the scale the same again. Your whole, your view changes. And I just want to empower women to like take that back and focus on the things that really matter and the things that are going to make a huge difference.
Okay. So look, watch out for that podcast. I think it's going to be a biggie. We're going to try and push it out as big as we can. Because you know what? In South Africa today, there isn't a podcast that's like authentic, real, that deals with like real life hacks. Like
not only fitness though, right?
Not just fitness.
Yeah, we're going to speak a lot about emotional stuff, by the way, and about cultivating joy. And there's all kinds of topics that we're going to talk about, unpack. And Steph has a lot of the time, I have this view and he has this view, and he's like Mr. Realist and I'm like Miss Optimist. So we have very, very different views on things. And I think it's going to create awesome debates. Yeah. So yeah, watch this space.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Thank you to Carly. Thank you to Tony. Thank you for, we went like 10 minutes over time. We're ending on 21:40. Some of you stayed on. Go to bed, get your sleep in. We really appreciate it. Carly, amazing. Tony, beautiful posits, amazing posits. Thank you. We'll definitely have you back, because I think you have some more things to say and we couldn't get to it all. But hopefully tonight was again one of those, takeaways, empowering, insightful, and going back to the beauty within.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks everyone.
Friends. Night, everyone.
Bye-bye.